Hi guys, welcome to Irish Footy Vlogs. Welcome to an FAI Cup special. We're delighted to welcome actually Gavin Woods with us today. A lot of people will know him from the fan reactions. Hi Gavin, how are you?
Hi Keith, how are you? Hi Cian.
How are you, bud?
How are you, buddy?
And of course people know who Cian Menton is, so he doesn't need an introduction. We'll start off with Dundalk and St. Mocktus. And Cian, like Dundalk obviously have had a dreadful season, to be fair. Mocktus are non-league. It's not a great opportunity, I would say, for Mocktus, but for their players to go to Oriel Park and play Dundalk, it's something you'd look forward to, isn't it, to be fair?
Of course. Look, I'm not even going to say this is going to make their season, because Muckross are a fantastic team, you know. Really, really strong. They have some really good players. It's, you know, you look at the amount of ex-League of Ireland players on teams now. Like, even like in the last round, you look at Bangor playing, and you know they had Sully up front, they had Pendergast, you know, they've some really top players. So, you know, it's people always seem to look down the non-league, but the level and the quality of player that's there is unbelievable. And you know, we've seen players make the step from non-league into the Premier Division, and you know, do really well. Like, for example, even down the Munster senior, Mark O'Sullivan would be the prime example of how good he done for Cork City when he was up. And you know, so it's definitely going to be a mismatch. People are going to be looking at Dundalk to win it, and it's important. It's important that Dundalk win it, but these games, I always say, is a lose. You know, you win 3 or 4-0, that was expected, and if you only scrape a win or you don't, you're hounded out of it. So, you know, I think Dundalk just need to get out and just get the win. I'd say 1-0, 2-0 will do the job for them. You'd like to think they scored a few more goals, but you know, I think it's going to be a little bit tight, especially starting off, and Dundalk aren't forward on all cylinders either.
No, I mean, Gavin, Dundalk have had an incredibly poor season overall, haven't they? I mean, this is an opportunity, probably the only opportunity, Gavin, they have of getting into Europe this year. I think Dundalk win the FAI Cup, isn't it?
Yeah, like you can see, like their form obviously is terrible, and it's just not happening from this year. I suppose that there's probably, like, I don't know about what's going on behind the scenes, but whatever is happening behind the scenes obviously isn't helping on the pitch either. So as Cian said, I suppose the most important thing is just to get through to the next round and just take it from there, you know.
What are you saying, Gavin? Who's going to win the game?
Yeah, well, Dundalk will win it, but as Cian, it's not going to be easy. Like I said, like St. Mocktus have nothing. It's a win-win in their situation, so they have nothing to lose. So as Cian said, if there's 1 or 2-0 to Dundalk, that's all it could be at the end, you know. And you never know, Dundalk might even get a goal, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I go for Dundalk as well, but I think it'll be very comfortable. I'm not going to say the scoreline. UCD take on Longford Town at the Belfield Bowl, and this is obviously First Division, Cian, against Premier Division, but you know, you've got a team on brilliant form, like 6-0, 2-0 the last couple of weeks in a playoff slot against a team who's won 1 game all season. The question is, who's the favourites here?
Yeah, look, if we had to pick a winner now, I'd probably pick UCD. You know, and it's just on form alone, like, and I just think the way they're playing, I think they're gonna hold Longford, especially in the final third. The amount of chances that they actually turn into goals, they don't get an awful lot of chances each game, you know, but they do put them away when they do get the chance. And I think that's something that Longford haven't done. We've seen Longford, and they've had some really good chances, but you know, in the games they're not taking them. And I just feel UCD have that little edge on them, especially form-wise coming into this. I know it's a cup, it's a nice little distraction. I think Longford will be delighted that they're playing a cup game this weekend and not the league. I'm going to say this can go all the way, and I think this will finish. It has to finish. All the games have to finish, but I think this can go all the way to penalties.
Are you going to commit on a winner?
No.
So me and Cian have chickened out a little bit so far with a few results here. Gavin, you would know UCD obviously from the First Division this season. Yeah. What do you think of them in general?
Yeah, their form is good. I was looking there. I think they're unbeaten in 7 games. And I suppose, look, no matter what, Premier or First Division, obviously Longford are rooted to the bottom and things aren't going their way, whereas UCD are flying. So, like, for me, I'm going to say UCD win. I just think they'll be. It's form is everything, and when your confidence is up, UCD are flying, and like personally speaking, I can't look past UCD to get the win here, I think.
Yeah, I find that as well in general in cup competitions. When a team is struggling near the foot of a higher division, they tend to get beaten nearly by the team who are higher in the division afterwards. So for that reason, I agree with you. I'm going to go for UCD as well. Waterford take on Kilnamana in Waterford. Keane, am I right in saying that Dean Clark is at Kilnamana?
Yeah, and Gary McCabe.
And Gary McCabe, that's it. I mean, they're not even what you'd call old players as such.
No, Gary McCabe is probably one of the best midfielders to ever play in the league. It's like I thought he was unbelievable, so underrated. He's a player that I used to hate playing against, but you'd love to watch. Dean Clark, he slightly disappointed in the way he left Pats last year after the lockdown and stuff, because he was coming into it and he had a great few seasons before he came to Pats at Limerick and stuff like that and done really well. It's going to be a Waterford win. I'm not going to put my house on it now, but you'd like to think a Waterford win. I don't know. I'm unsure of by how much, but like I said, look at the players. Like in my opinion, Dean Clark and Gary McCabe will probably play in this Waterford side and start every week. So I think that says it all, the quality, and I think that goes for most of the league. Like I could see Gary McCabe fitting in playing for Pats at the minute. And that's just the way. That's how good these players are. So they definitely won't look twice at them, because you could be beaten. You got 1-0 down. It could be a tough night for Waterford. So I'm gonna go for a Waterford win, but I don't think this one will be as straightforward as Dundalk.
Yeah, Gavin, I do think Kilnamana are possibly, in my opinion anyway, the best of the non-league sides. I could be wrong, but I just think they might be. But Waterford obviously have had an upsurge, haven't they, under Mark Bircham, and they'll fancy their chances to get into the quarter-final, and after that, it's anyone's game nearly, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose they will fancy their chances. Things have turned a bit for him since Mark Bircham took over. And as you say there about Gary McCabe, I remember, I think it was, am I right or am I wrong, lads? You can correct me here. Did he play with Bray about 3 or 4 years ago when City won the league? And they were up. Bray were up there or thereabouts, I think, at the time. I think, they had a really strong team that time. And I remember him down in Turner's Cross. And he used to... sorry?
Under Harry Kenny, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think I remember when he played against City, like that, he obviously used to get booed all the time, or anytime he took a shot and he missed, because obviously City, the fans knew he was a threat to him, because he was that good, So, as Keane said, I think definitely as well that's not going to be a straightforward game. I'd probably go maybe a 2-1 win to Waterford.
Yeah, I'm going for Waterford as well, but tight as well. We'll get on to Cork City and St. Patrick's Athletic at Turner's Cross. Both are you going to the game actually, Gavin? I know Keane is.
Yeah, I have tickets. Yeah, I have the tickets. Yeah.
So maybe you'll see each other there. I don't know, but Keane, when this, let's be honest, Keane, when this draw was made, I think most people would have said Pats all day long, handy up the road to Dublin into the next round. Now I think it's a different story. You're going to have Cork fans there, they're going to be really up for it. Pats have a lot of little injury issues, and I think, is Barrett suspended for this one?
Yeah, I think he could be, but
I think he could be, but Cork have obviously improved in the last few weeks. How do you see this one?
Yeah, I've seen this toy coming out when we drew it. The toy was just after the first round, basically, and they beat Sligo Rovers, and in fairness, they beat them fairly well. I know the scoreline didn't suggest it, but they had a better team all over the park. So, any toy at home is a great toy, no matter who you play, and any toy away is a tough toy, no matter who you play. So, it's definitely going to help Cork, especially the 900 people in the ground. I think only 100 of them are Pats, so 800 fans behind their back.
You're loud enough for the 900 fans game.
Yeah, no, I think they're definitely going to be up for this. This is going to be a tight one. It's going to be very cagey, and I think this is the first time, and I say this with the greatest respect, this is the first time I'm going down to Cork now, probably since they won the league, that I'm saying, you know what, we could be up for the game here, because anytime we've gone down there, we've won or we've drew, or you'd expect something to bring back. So this one's gonna, for the first time, I'm thinking to myself, we could be in for a long night here. I can't see Cork winning it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it goes all the way again. I think this could be a game that could even go into extra time. I think this is probably, obviously you're going to look at Bows and Rovers, but I think this is going to be the other tie of the week in terms of the two games. I think it's Cork and Pats and Bows and Rovers, and I know you have Harps and Derry and stuff, but I think that they're on par with this game. So I'm looking forward to it. It's a game that it's going to be cagey. I hope McNulty's in goal with a bit of luck, and we might stand a chance.
Believe this or not, Cian, right? I'm not lying. Where I'm staying at the moment in Garrettstown, right? There's mobile home, there's different mobile home areas here. And Mark actually is in the mobile home place next to us. And believe it or not, I actually got him to come over to say hello to you. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I'm only joking.
Yeah. If I was you, I'd lock him in that blame caravan till the match is over.
Yeah. I'll go and goal instead.
Gavin, now in fairness, you were quite depressed about Cork, let's be honest, 2 months ago. But funnily enough, that win against Sligo actually has really lifted something at the club, because it was since that win in the Cup, wasn't it, to be fair?
Yeah, I was when I'm doing the reviews, I have no issue slating Cork City, because when before the Sligo result, I was watching them, and as well as being beaten, they weren't even playing well. It was just, and they were all small things. I was saying that, these simple 5-6 yard passes, they couldn't even pass to each other. And I was saying these fellas are training twice a day. I was saying, what the F is going on in training? Are they watching cartoons or something, or what? Because they were all over the place. And I was saying, this looks terrible. And then after the Sligo game, then they started picking up, but they seem to have got their shit together. Whatever's happening in training, it's taken them 2/3 of a season to kind of pull themselves together. And what was happening over that couple of weeks was that they were attacking, but things weren't going well from, their build up of play wasn't working out well. It just wasn't happening from when I was saying this is just going to be a disaster. But what he actually done was he started playing Benny O'Brien Whitmarsh with Cian Murphy up there, or off him. And when the two of them started playing...
Sorry, Gavin, can I go across you there? Because I was going to ask you about that. What point did he actually change to them two up front rather than the one? Which game do you remember?
Oh, fuck.
Did he do that for the Sligo game?
I can't remember. Yeah. But we see after the Cup game, you see what he was doing. He was bringing on one. He'd start one of them, bring on the other, and then when he played the two of them together, what actually happened was Cian Bargary got a serious injury. He done damage to his shoulder. I think he popped out his shoulder, so he was out for a while. And Cian was in the team, so then he changed the system and he put, as I called him, Dylan McGrealish, because that's about the socks is about the only comparison. He put Dylan McGrealish out there instead of him, and He put Dylan McGrealish out there, and then he played we say 4-4-1-1. So Benny Young started kind of doing all the donkey work, and Cian Murphy was just winning the second ball and running onto it. And then things have changed in that sense, because that's where they've come into a run of form. And then Garrod Morrissey got injured and he's out for a while. And then he brought in Barry Coffey. So when he brought in Barry Coffey and Aaron Bolger, it just seems to have worked. Do you know what? I was saying, I remember, was it what game did I do? I think it was the UCD game. Was it? We drew 2-2 there. We were 2-0 up, and they gave away stupid goals or something like that. Anyway, a couple of weeks ago, I can't remember what game it was. I was effing and blinding anyway. on the review about it, and that was Barry Coffey's first game. But then after that, he seemed to have settled in well. He seemed to have just slotted into the team, and it's just. Things have kind of come together. No, I know they got a draw last week, but I wasn't disappointed with him, because it was a kind of a scrappy game anyway against Cabinteely. But before I'd be more disappointed about him throwing away stupid games, but they still done all right last week, and they just gave away bad goals. No, to be honest, I say Cian be delighted. I missed your review, but obviously the first goal, I don't know what McNulty was doing for the first goal, and the second goal. Then I was watching it, but the camera was a bit late, and he looked like he missed it again. But as you said a couple of weeks ago, Cian, if I think with City, what happens with Cork City is that City are better nearly going 1 goal behind because they seem to kind of wake up. When City go 1-0 up in games, what happens to them? They're kind of going, oh, what do we do next? What happens next? You know. So I think they're nearly better off going behind. But as Cian said, like, I mean, if I was anybody, you might as well batter Mark McNulty if he's in goal. Just take shots from 35 yards. But like that's the way it is with confidence. Do you know what I mean? If his confidence is low and he's not playing well, Pats have nothing to lose there. And I think when it comes to the game, it's going to be a tight game. Do you know?
I think it is. I mean, in fairness, how confident are you that Cork can take the scalp, I suppose? They've already taken Sligo, you know, but obviously Pat's are a bit wounded as well with a couple of injuries to key players, is what I'm trying to say, coming into the game, Gavin. Do you think they've a chance, Cork, winning this game?
Well, I think they have nothing to lose. Like, let's put it that way. It's kind of like the non-league situation. It's kind of like Muckross against Dundalk. Like, if City, like I think with Cork City fans, the most important thing is that City put in a performance. You know, that's all. If City give 110% and they lose the game, they'll actually be applauded for it. Whereas if they lie down and die, they'll actually be hated for it. You know, that's the way it is. But that's the way it is with City fans. If the fans come off the pitch and say, look, he gave it 110, the quality just wasn't there. Pats were the better quality. We lost 2-1 or 1-0. So be it. So I don't think City have anything to lose, no matter what. Just once they put in a performance and they show the effort in front of the fans, it's a win-win in that situation, I think.
If you have to call it, Gavin, who's going to win?
I'm going to go. Go to your head, Gav. I'm going to go City 2-1 in extra time.
Ooh, Cian, what did you say? I'm going to go Pats to nick it, maybe 1-0.
A Mark McNulty mistake and a tap in, 1-0 Pats.
Right, chalk it down. Finn Harps take on Derry City, which is a huge derby, as we all know, the Northwest Derby. McElhenny's doubtful in this game for Finn Harps. Unusually, actually, both teams are coming into this derby in good form. Usually one team's in good form, the other team's in bad form. So it's set up for a brilliant tie, this one, Cian, isn't it?
Yeah, this is an excellent tie. Like I says, I think if you had to put them in order, I'd say Pat, obviously Bowles is going to be number 1 the weekend. I'd say this would be number 2 and the Pats game be number 3. This is going to be a game that I'm looking forward to looking at. It's going to be a tough one. It's a tough one to call. I'm not sitting on the fence here though. I was going to sit in the fence, but no, I'm not going to bottle it. And I'm going to go for Finn Harps to win this 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, Gavin, in the last round, actually, Finn Harps were taking the extra time against Fairview from Limerick and did win 3-0. The fitness levels coming into play there. But since Finn Harps have won 3 games in the league, including a 3-1 win against St. Pat's, you know. Derry in the last round drew with Drogheda in a hard-fought game. They got through on penalties, but they've been in excellent form as well, winning a Sligo last week. I'm talking here because I don't really know how to call it myself, but I'll ask you that question first.
I think what it'll probably come down to, as you say, 2 teams in form. It'll actually come down to the fact that Finn Harps are at home. So I go with the home fixture. You know, I think that will be the difference between the two of them. With 2 teams on form and Finn Harps are going well. So I go with Finn Harps because they're playing at home.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking that, but I was thinking Derry have an excellent record in the Cup. They really love the Cup, and I know they're pushing hard for Europe. I still think it's unlikely they'll get there, in my opinion. I'm going to go for Derry. I think Derry might nick this one, I think. Maybe 2-1. Maynooth and Cobh Ramblers, guys. Another non-league team against Cobh Ramblers, who Cian said brought in, actually, a lot of Munster senior league teams there, or players, sorry, to the club there. And, you know, you'd like to think they're a bit modest going into this one. They won't be underestimating the challenge. I believe this is in St. Francis's ground, actually, Cian, as well. They're playing this match.
Yeah. Going to be a tough game, this. I think this is going to be the toughest one now out of the non-league sides for a team. Especially they have to travel as well. And they have to come all the way up and play. Usually you consider your home advantage. And you play as the away team in your home ground against a non-league side. So the fact that they have to travel, Baldon's a lovely little setup up there. Really good, St. Francis. But I'll tell you now, I think this could be a shock. You'd like to think Cobh can win it and Cobh can get themselves into the next round because, I think the league gets enough stick, in my opinion. And as much as I'd love to see a non-league team go and do well, you know, you want to see our teams in the leagues, in the top 2 leagues of the country, going through and winning. I'm going to say it'd be tight, but I'll tell you now, I'm not sure. Come back to me.
Gavin, you should know a little bit about Cobh from your area of the country, I suppose, but they're obviously second bottom in the first division this year. They changed their manager as well, remember, and I'm not saying the manager should make a difference immediately, but I'm saying I don't think he has made a difference immediately. Murphy in there, really. I did question, I wasn't sure why Ashton was, mutual agreement, but I think really, he was sacked in reality. So I don't know. It's a difficult one for Cobh. They're trying to build down there. They're a nice community-based club on that, but it's hard to know what to expect, is what I'm trying to say, really, I suppose.
Yeah, like I definitely used to say, I don't think Darren Murphy has. Again, look, it could be something that could take time for him to implement his way of playing. But there's no doubt about it that, Stuart Ashton is a huge loss to that club. Like when City played him a couple of weeks ago, it was 2 weeks ago, whatever, at home. Like City, like the gap in quality told in the game. There was a huge gap after. Like City were good for first 20 minutes. Cobh came back into it, but then City ran away with it. So like the gap, even though there's a couple of points or one space between them, whatever in the league, but the gap was huge in terms of quality, and City ran away with it. So like I just don't think it's just not happening for Cobh this year. There's a lot of non-league players came in from Cork around here, like Cobh Wanderers and stuff, and they got in fellas local. So Stuart Ashton's a huge loss to that club. There's make no doubt about it. He's a massive loss. So like, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Sorry.
No, it's grand. No, I was just thinking. I think they probably, he left the club as such. I'm not going to say sacked. It was a mutual agreement, but I honestly think I think he left the club basically because I think they thought they could get a new manager bounce and make a little push for the playoffs. What do you think about that, Keane?
Yeah, look, it happens, and we've seen him with Galway last year, and we've seen the bounce, and
but it's not the way. It's not the way to approach things, in my opinion, though. Isn't there hope for a new manager bounce?
No, look, Stu was the main man there. Stu looked after the club. I think the club has been in some really good hands under Ian Henderson and Steve Henderson, and and then obviously Stu, and it's another set now where they have to. Stu was building something nicely after Steve left, and it's like last year you could see it clicking. You could see them nearly, in and around the playoffs. Now they got beaten on the last day to Galway. That knocked them out of the playoffs. But, it's another bit of a rebuilding process. But
because you have to bear in mind, Keane, as well, that it's very hard for the likes of Stuart Ashton to get players down to Cobh. Let's be honest about it. And especially the fact that Cork are in the first division makes it harder then. Because, you know what I mean? If there's a player of similar quality, Cork are going to get that player. And as Gavin said, you're bringing players from Avondale and teams like that as well. It's difficult. Like, I'm not sure what's expected really down there, I suppose.
It's going to be difficult for them. But look, if they can get themselves into the next round, the Cup, they went on a run a couple of years ago. Well, when I say a couple of years ago, what would I say? They got to the quarters, probably 2016 it would have been. They got to the quarters. Cork won it that year. So, it's going to be a tough one. But if they can get themselves into the next round, it'll keep their season alive. I'm going to say Cobh.
I think they'll just pinch us, Gavin. What do you think?
I'm not sure. I genuinely am not sure. No, and it's down to confidence and stuff like that. Like Maynooth have nothing to lose, so I'm going to go Maynooth.
There could be a shock, all right. Killester take on Wexford, and this is a similar tie in many ways, isn't it? Because you've got the non-league team, you've got Wexford, who are obviously bottom the league. The saving grace for Wexford is the last couple of weeks they've managed to get a win, basically, and a draw. So, what do you think of this one, Keane?
Yeah, this is another one that you can nearly flip a coin on before the game starts. You would like to think Wexford will win it again. I'm going to say Wexford. but it's not going to be straightforward. I think there could be a couple of goals in this one. But Wexford form recently has picked up. When I say picked up, it's still shocking form, like I'm saying, like a points total and stuff. So, you know, they'll have to really kick their arse into gear for next season. But, you know, like I said, they run the cup, and all of a sudden then you have Wexford in the next round. You could have Cobh in the next round. You know, you could have teams there. Yeah, if they draw each other, one of them is going even further again. So, you know, a nice little cup run keeps our season alive. I'm going to say Wexford, but I'm not sure.
Funnily enough, you know, it's hard to be sure. Funnily enough, I'm going with Wexford. The fact that the league literally doesn't mean anything to them either, so they can really focus on this game from maybe a week or two ago, or any little niggles and knocks and that. And Gavin, it is an opportunity for Wexford. They are a good club, to be fair to them. There's only so much they can do, I think, but it's an opportunity for them to get into the quarterfinals, which would be cracking, wouldn't it?
Yeah, like, and as you said, Wexford, they've nothing to concentrate on with the league and stuff like that, so they have nothing to lose. And if Wexford, if they get the result that they need, then you never know, you know, if whoever they draw in the next round could go their way as well. So they look at it from that point of view and say, look, you know, we never know where we could end up with this. So, you know, they just look at it from that point of view and concentrate on the FAI Cup. And sure, you know, they've nothing again. There's nothing there for them to lose. So if you fancy them to win anyway.
Yeah, brilliant. That's all the games, lads, isn't it?
Yeah.
We better talk about Bohemians and Shamrock Rovers at Dalymount Park. This is the match of the weekend. Let's be honest about it. One of these is going to be knocked out of the cup. Basically, it's a big hitter going. Bows have had, I suppose, with the European adventures, they haven't had much of a break. But in the last few weeks, they've been able to build. Really recover and look at this match. Rovers, as we speak, still have to play that European match as well. It is on the Sunday, however. How are you seeing this one, Keane?
Yeah, look, any of these games you can always flip a coin. I think in recent years, Bows had a bit of balls about them in these games. Bows end up coming out with the win. Yeah. I think Rovers have stopped that now, and I think it's definitely a 50-50 game. Like, for the last couple of years, I would say since from 2016, you've nearly pipped Bows every game. I don't know, there's just something about them, the way they were showing up against Rovers and raising the game. But now I think it's a lot more even. I think Rovers have kind of stopped the little trot that Bows were on. So, it's in Dalymount, but there's only 400 fans. What a disappointment for such a big cup final. Like, you know, I really don't get that at all. I know they only have the Jody and the Des Kelly. I don't think the Des Kelly be in use, actually. I'm not sure what's going on there.
Because the roofs come off and stuff. And
the roof came off. I don't know whether the seats are whether they're still sitting in the seats. I would presume they could, because the roof is gone. So. But like, only 400 people at this game, and it's a shame, because like, if you had this in the Aviva, I think we'd hit 10,000. If whatever we were let in, I think we'd made it. Especially with it being on the Sunday, and now another League of Hurling game on as well.
So other people would have went, like, who aren't fans of the clubs necessarily.
Yeah, exactly. Like, in fairness, I've been lucky enough to see Bows play Rovers probably every season for the last couple of years, because for whatever reason, Pats don't end up playing the same night, or we'd be playing the Saturday in Sligo or whatever, and we get to see the game, and you'd go to it, you know, and it's a game that you pick up, you'd end up going. So I'm disappointed that there's 400 at it, but it'd be one that I think everyone would be tuning into. You'd want to hope the stream is good, because I think there's going to be a lot of people looking in on it, and it's the tie of the week. I'm going to go with Bows, and the only reason I'm going with Bows is because Rovers are in Europe tomorrow. That fourth goal killed them last week in Europe. I probably would have said I fancied them to get through, but now with 2 goals, three to win it, it's a big ask. But they can definitely hurt them. So with that tie still being alive now for Rovers, because we're talking now, it's Wednesday. So
yeah, this will be out before that match is played anyway, to be honest.
So the tie is still alive before they go on. And I think that's going to play into it. It's not like they're 4-0 down and they're just coming, like, and they're focusing on Sunday. It's not like that. So I think Thursday is going to take a lot out of Rovers, so I'm going to go for Bows to win it. Only on that. That's all.
Yeah, Gavin, it's not just the physical aspects, the mental aspect. Like Rovers are looking forward to this European game. They're switched on to that, they're focused on to that. Bowls for a change, or after getting a bit of a break now, they probably badly need a break for them actually. Yeah. And the focus this week would have turned fully on Shamrock Rovers. Does that give Bowls an advantage, you think?
Absolutely, Keith. I think the fact as well, I think it's kind of like in a sense where I was saying about the tie between, I couldn't tell between Harps and Derry a while ago. I think it's the same with Bows. I think the only difference here will be the fact that Bows are at home. I think like even if Rovers, with the Rovers game tomorrow, I think the fact that if Rovers are at home, I'd go with Rovers for that simple reason. And again, as Cian said, this carry on with the 400 people is a disgrace. You know, like it is like, you know, there should be 1,000 or 2,000 people allowed into the game. And there's nothing really between the two teams. Keith Long is doing a fantastic job with Bows, in fairness to him. So I'm going to go with Bows. I'm going to go 1-0 Bows. And I just think, I just think they're going to be tired. Rovers are going to be tired after tomorrow night. You know, because you're playing against a team that are on a different level. So you know they're going to pull you in different directions that you're not used to physically, mentally, and you're going to have to be tuned into it. And they'll have a game less and Bows with the break. So I'm going to go 1-0 Bows.
Yeah, as well. That's my thinking as well. I think it's a full house for Bowls, which won't satisfy the Shamrock Rovers viewers, but they'll be delighted shoving it down our throat if Rovers actually win it. Yeah, so for me, I'm going for Bowls basically. So guys, I tell you what, thanks for coming on, Gavin. Fair play to you.
Thanks, Keith. Thanks, Cian. Lovely to talk to you.
And thank you as usual, Cian.
Yeah.
Brilliant stuff. Guys, subscribe if you're new, hit your bell notification button, and let us know what you think in the comments. I'm sure you won't be satisfied with all our opinions. Cheers.